Page 4, My Heart Will Go On. This is in 4/4 time. We're using all the white keys on the piano. Well, not all of them, but only the white keys. I assume you know what the notes are, that you can read the music. I don't have to spoon feed you the notes. The rhythms can get a little tricky. We'll cover those just in case. So if you're having trouble reading the notes, please go back to the method book and start at the beginning and learn to read the notes. Well, you need to learn to count too and read it, but this is the notes I'm after. I'm going to kind of take this both hands at a time. See, when I start to learn a piece of music, I like to do it just one hand at a time first to get each hand working, and then go put them together, which is usually almost like starting over for me. But since here only one hand is playing at a time, I'm going to take both hands together. So at the beginning, your thumb in your right hand is here on middle C. That puts your hand in this position. And if you look in the second measure, when the left hand plays, the thumb is on a B here, and that puts the left hand in this position. So you're in this position to start. That's how you figured it out, huh? And it's 1 and 2 and, because we have a dotted rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And I'm hoping you understand dotted rhythms, but just briefly, keep in mind, so keep it simple. A quarter note gets one count in 4/4 time. So the quarter note is going to take up the first beat. The dot gets half of that, which is half of a count, like an eighth note. So you're going to hold that quarter note down for another half beat, 1.5 beats. And so whatever comes after that has to come on the and of 2 in this case. 1 and 2 and. Like so. All dotted rhythms work similarly, so that's it. So at the beginning again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And I connect everything when I'm first learning to play it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's go down to the third line. You're here, whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're both G's, and you're using whichever finger is on that key. We don't need these finger numbers in here. They gave you the finger numbers at the beginning to tell you where your hands go, and you're not moving around. We don't need any of these other finger numbers. I wish they'd leave them out, because it's easier for a beginner just to read finger numbers instead of the notes. I know, because I used to do that when I started. I'd be more comfortable if you take a pencil and scribble out all these other finger numbers except the first 2 measures. You can leave those and get rid of all the others. You don't need them, because you just play whatever finger is on that key. So in the third line, or I'll use measure numbers. See the little numbers at the beginning of the lines with in boxes? Those are measure numbers. So if I say measure 10, you got to figure out which line measure 10 is on. And you see there's a 9, well, measure 10 is the next one. So it's be the second measure, the third line there on page 4. We're still in this position, and it's 1, 2, you just use third finger because third finger's on that G. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1. So just count it out very carefully, and you'll be fine. And once we have that, then we go back and we think about as far as the slurs and stuff going, I don't agree with their slurs in these books. If there isn't anything on it, you connect the note as best you can. Now you can't connect repeated notes on a piano. Do the best you can. And they're telling you in the second measure like that, make sure you connect those. I'm telling you, go ahead and connect the whole first line together as best you can. And then at the end of the line, lift up in the hand, just lift up before you play the next note. So there's just a little bit of silence. It's like if you were singing it and you were going to take a breath, that's the same thing. So you cut the last note of the first line a bit short because the next note has to be on the beat. So here, and then play the whole second line connected. Now there's a repeat sign at the end of the second line. That makes you go back to the beginning, you're going to repeat. Well, when you repeat it, connect this. Connect those notes. The notes in measure 8 and the first note at the beginning, connect it. If you go on, same thing, connect the notes. Here. And I still say connect all this together. Connect all this together. To me, all that belongs, it's like a musical sentence, it all goes together. They have you separating it, well, they have it slurred as though you're going to separate it. But with slurs, and that's what these are, you don't always lift up before and after a slur in music. You really don't. I'm just telling you, connect these notes. The last two lines are pretty much, you can connect the last two lines on page 5 all together. As far as the dynamics of the louds and softs, it starts out soft. That's what that little P is for at the beginning. Piano for soft. You'll have to decide what soft is, because it's not a set loudness. It depends on the situation. For whatever your situation is there, what is soft to you? It's not as soft as you can play, because there's softers than this. It's just soft. Staying pretty much there for the first two lines, and then the third line you have an MF. MF means mezzo forte or medium loud, moderately loud, sort of loud. Not loud, just sort of loud. And here, just whatever you think sort of loud is. And you're staying there pretty much for the rest of the piece. That's just, in other words, the first two lines are soft and the rest of it's sort of loud. At the top of page 5 in the third measure, or it's measure 15, you get a little hairpin, a little sideways arrow. It tells you to gradually get softer. Go back down to soft. Here, listen to the piano die away. It'll die away on its own, and then try and match that with the G, whatever that is. And then when you're doing this, go back up. They don't tell you, I mean, at this point you'd probably want to stay soft, but I'm telling you, go back up to your moderately loud. Go back up to where you were. With each of these notes, the last two notes in that first line, get a little louder until measure 17, you're back up to moderately loud there, in my opinion. It's not marked, so I'm guessing. Speed, you've heard recordings of this, I'm sure. Wistfully, who knows what that means, just enjoy yourself. But it has to be accurate, so you don't go faster than what you can play accurately. So, yeah, your wistfully will be different than my wistfully or something like that. And that's okay. Now, in the last two measures there on page 5, next to the last measure, there's an RIT, which stands for retardando, which means gradually slow down. So whatever speed you're going, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There. However, when you get to this whole note, I recommend that whatever your speed that you slow down to, go ahead and maintain that speed throughout the whole note. Don't keep slowing down through the whole note. Some people do and some people don't. So I don't know that there's a right or wrong way. It's just that when people are listening to you, they're following along the rhythm. They know how they can feel how fast you're going. And when you start slowing down, they can feel that too. It's just those last two C's, however fast you played those, keep that speed throughout, hold it for 4 counts and then let up, is my suggestion. So you go through and learn it. Go back through it a few whatever times it takes to get rid of any hesitations. You're not allowed to have any hesitations here at all. And if you can, get to where you can play this piece without looking at the keyboard, because you don't want to be too relying too much on having to see what your fingers are doing. You want to feel your way around. There's a lot of feeling going on in piano playing. You gotta love it. So get to where you might have to look at first, but eventually your hands aren't moving. So once you're there, you should know where your fingers are. You got to remember which keys are on. Then once you can play that at some speed, come back to this video in the Play With Me section. I put the starting point of the Play With Me's in all the videos, if there is a Play With Me. And let's play it together very slowly to double check that you have all the right notes and all the right rhythms. You should be playing the same note I'm playing at the same time I'm playing it, is what I'm saying. Not going to do any dynamics, the louds and softs, I'm just going to play it. But I will do the repeat, so we'll do that. So let's just check it and make sure we got that okay. I'm going to give us 4 counts. I'm going to go 1, 2, ready, go. That's 4 counts. And then we go. So go ahead and put your hands where they go. It's here. And here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And 2 and 3. 1 and 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Repeat. 1 and 2 and 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. 4, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off. Now there is a duet part at the bottom. Faber does this a lot in their books. It's for the teacher or somebody who can play that part. You play your part and they play that part and you can play it together. However, for this to work right and sound right, I need you to go up an octave on the piano. An octave is simply an interval. I won't get into it too deeply. It's letter to letter. A to A, B to B, C to C. You're just going up one letter. Or the letter, the next letter. Don't confuse me. I'm starting out here, thumb here. I'm just going to go up, not this C, I'm going up to this C. I'm just going up to the next C, and the left hand, same thing here. So instead of here, I'm just going up here. I'm going up an octave. I'm going to play it up here. Pretend that's middle C instead of that. That's all. And play it all up here. Because the duet part's using these notes, and it won't sound good if you're both using the same notes. And they don't get along anyway, so it's okay. Now I'm going to speed this up a little more like it's supposed to go, but I can't slow down at the end. I want us to stay together, so I'm not going to do any retardato at the end. We're going to keep the same speed throughout. So I'll give us 4 counts again, and let's try it. So go ahead and put your hands up here. And here we go. 1, 2, ready, go.